Okay. Okay. I just had to go share. So now we're ready to go. You guys can do one thing for me and tell me if I am centered properly in this screen. When you join, tell me if I'm centered properly because I don't think I am, but I don't want to fix it. I forgot to do it before I went live. So, did anybody else watch all the racing yesterday? Literally, if you watched it from, I don't know if they started on time, but if the trucks really started racing at 9 a.m., like they said, it was 10 a.m. Eastern, but 9 a.m. my time, and you watched the trucks and the Indy and NASCAR Cup race, if you watched it all plus the post race, I don't even know what time that post race ended, but you literally watched like close to 13 hours of racing, like actual racing, plus all the pre race and post race stuff. And I don't know if how much there was for the trucks because I know they were competing with Indy. And I kind of don't like that for them. It's kind of not fair that they have to, but reality says Indy's going to have a billion more viewers. I don't know if that's quite an accurate number, but there's definitely more butts in those seats than I've ever seen at NASCAR in my lifetime as a NASCAR fan. So, assuming they're actually using the seats and not standing the entire time. But I understand that they were on a time crunch. I don't like I'm going to start with this because it makes me mad. I get it, but it makes me mad. Like, what the heck is up with the racing clock? Like, let's race to a certain time and then we're done. That, no! Like, just no. No, 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 no. Like, if that was gonna be your stipulation for putting it on in that time slot, bump it to Monday. Like, it would have made sense to watch the entire race today without a struggle. Like, yeah, I get that people had to leave and go home, and I get that probably nobody would watch it because it's just trucks. I hate saying just trucks because trucks it's good racing, but I get that that's where their mindset is. But the racing clock, I just I don't understand. I just don't understand. And I missed most of that race, but from what I saw on social media, it was really good. I got to see through the end of stage one. Well, I didn't watch it, but I looked at the NASCAR app, so I knew who won stage one. I forgot who it was now. Was it Caden or was it Lane? I don't remember, but it was one of those guys. I don't know. Can't remember who it was. Might have been neither one of them. But I remember I saw it, and then I had to go into church, and I didn't put it back on until a little after. Well, let's see. It was probably about 11 that I put it back on. So I got the last like maybe 30 laps or so. No, I didn't. They ended at noon. What time did I put it on? It must have been a little. I must have put it on right after we left church, literally. Because church is over at 10:40. So I literally must have put it on, like, for the last 15 minutes of it. Because I know I listened to some of it. And the post-race interviews, I wasn't paying attention because we were cooking dinner, honestly. But it was on my phone. And I missed the majority of the indie pre-race show. So I don't know what I missed in either one, but the whole racing clock it brought back the days. I don't know if y'all remember when they had the caution clock in the truck series. I don't even know how long ago this was. It was like the precursor to stage breaks. And I thought they were dumb then, and I haven't changed my opinion today. Like, I still think they're stupid. Like I said, I get it, but I don't like it. But honestly, like, the whole day yesterday just felt off. And the only thing that makes sense to me is that it had more to do with Kyle Busch's passing than anything. But the Indy race was fun. I don't watch. or listen to very many of them. And I don't know his name, but the dude that used to drive me crazy on the IndyCar broadcast has apparently retired, or maybe just doesn't work Indy because he wasn't there. Like, I don't know what his name is, but his voice is annoying to me. Like, I couldn't stand it. But he wasn't there. So it was a little more enjoyable for me. That's so mean, but that's how I feel about his voice. Like, no, just no. Um, but I love the fact that they broke so many records in the Indy race yesterday. That was fun. Like, I don't know what was up with that race. Like, normally I find it to be not boring is not the right word. Okay, I realize this. It's not. But that's the only word that comes to mind. Like, it's tame, maybe is the word. I felt like it was crazy yesterday. And I think the longest indie race I've ever watched. Like, it literally started like a little past noon my time. Well, no, I think it was either a little before, right at, or slightly after. I can't remember exactly what time it started, but it was close to noon. And it literally didn't end until almost 3:30 my time. That was with the post-race stuff. But still, I was like, this is the longest race I've ever watched. And like I said, I don't watch that many, so there's probably been ones that were longer, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I sometimes do with indie races. And I like how they set 3 new records. The most caution flags was the new record was set yesterday. The closest finish in history, a new record was set yesterday. And the most lead changes was set yesterday. So I don't know what was up yesterday, but something was crazy in in Speedway, Indiana. I don't know what it was. And I looked it up, y'all. I know there's a lot of people there, but I didn't know that it ranges between 3 and 400,000 people that between the stands and the infield. That's insane. And that doesn't count like it's right there in the city, so I don't know if there's places where you can watch it without being inside the gates. I don't know if that's possible, but if it is, that's not counting those people. That's just crazy. Like, I don't know if at least not during my time, I don't know if there's any NASCAR race that draws that many people. I feel like not even Daytona 500 draws that many people. So crazy. Hello, hello. Um, hello, welcome. I was reading your comments. Um, yeah, I don't really have anything else to say on Indy. Is it sad that I don't even remember who won Indy? I remember who won NASCAR, both NASCAR races, but not Indy. Well, all three if you count Xfinity. Y'all, like, what was up with they made me mad on the on the oh, well, I call it Xfinity, but O'Reilly. They made me mad. Like, I know they can't do anything about the rain. I realize this. But like, couldn't we have called it and had it today? Or I guess not yesterday since they had trucks yesterday. And nobody wants to compete with Indy, obviously. 400,000 people live. I don't know how many you watched on TV, but I was watching, so but like I did not like the O'Reilly race at all. Like it bugged me. I don't even remember much of it. We were in the middle of dinner and we went out and had a bonfire and I know that I don't even remember if they started like how the truck guys did where they were doing the parade laps and they called it. I don't even remember if they got that far. I don't think they did. But they literally didn't start until like 9:30 Eastern. So obviously that was our clue that trucks weren't happening Saturday night. But they should have just waited on both of them and ran them both today. I know that would not be good for the people who had tickets that had to go home, but I just felt like the whole race was off somehow. And normally I like a watermelon smash. I do. But like one, he's a cup guy in a series he doesn't belong in. And two, I feel like they just gave it to him. Like what is up with running like the last 5 or 6 laps under caution and then shutting it down and saying, okay, he's the winner? No, 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 no. Like, I want to race to the end. I don't want to end it under caution. And I get that they couldn't do that because by that point it was raining. But still, I just feel like I got gypped out of a good race. It may be part of that is because Allgaier got screwed over in the exchange and ended up finishing 28th or 29th. I'm not entirely sure. But still, like, I feel like I got gypped out of a good race. And I'm not happy. Um, anyway, I have no idea what that comment means. So I'm going to pretend it doesn't exist because it makes no sense to me. um, but yeah, the whole pre-race show for the Coke 600, I understand where they were coming from. I do appreciate for the fans and his family especially all of the like memorial stuff for Kyle Busch, like the career highlights and all of that is pretty awesome. Um I kind of wish that maybe they would have given it more time so they could have shown more of the on-track stuff too, because I guess there was a lot of really good Memorial Day stuff happening at the track that they weren't showing, and maybe it's because of copyright laws with showing music and stuff. I don't know, because I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know what took place at the track, but from what I saw on social media from people that were there, it was really good. And on TV, all we saw was the Kyle Busch remembrance stuff, which, like I said, that's fine. I don't mind that, but I just wish we could have seen both. Um, the part that they did show at the track where they brought out Samantha and the kids, that was really awesome. Like, I don't know if I could have shown up like she did. I don't know if I could have come there like that. But I like that they all, like, all the other team owners, and I don't know, maybe there was some crew there too, came out to support them. And I thought it was cool. The PRN guys said that the crew that was behind them were all wearing Kyle Busch shirts, which I thought was pretty cool. Um, but the whole thing, it was just sad, and I don't really like him. Not Kyle. I'm not gonna pretend I was a fan of Kyle, but in this case, I'm not really a fan of Austin Hill. But I wish that he could have done better in his. It wasn't even his first cup race, but he was driving the car for Kyle, and I wish that he could have had a better outcome, even if RCR cars don't do good lately anyway. But a lot of people that I thought would do good didn't. And apparently, if I pick you to win, you are going to completely suck. Because who did I pick? Chase Elliott. And he went out fairly early. Like, I don't remember if it was stage 1 or stage 2. But he went out fairly early in one of those stages. And I was kind of surprised. I was a little disappointed that Zillage, and it was one of the Austins. Was it Cindric? I thought that it was Dylan, but Dylan was still racing later, so maybe it wasn't. But whoever it was that got into the crash with Cindric, that or with Zillage, that was a little bit unfortunate. And I was disappointed the most by Ross Chastain later. He could have gotten hurt though, I guess, by the way he crashed. And at some point they were afraid that they needed to fix the barrier, so I mean that's pretty intense, but um no chance of a repeat watermelon smash at that point. But I don't know where Christopher Bell came from later. I feel like the first 2 stages he was just kind of mediocre. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention to him, I don't know. I was focused on my fantasy and how the longer the night went, the worse my fantasy picks got. It I think the highest my fantasy drivers finished was, like, 19th. It was really bad. If I put you on my roster, you should be afraid. They should just look at my account and be like they should just warn them ahead of time, "Okay, Amy's got you on her roster, beware." And they should just do this. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. Uh, yep. Chase Briscoe was doing so well too, and then even he got taken out. The one that really surprised me though, that was doing way better than I would have ever suspected him of doing at an oval. I know I sound like everybody else, but Shane Van Gisbergen is not supposed to do that well at the ovals. And part of me wonders if he was that good at Charlotte on the oval because I believe that part of the oval made up the road course that they raced on when it was the Roval, and he was always good there. So I wonder if that helped him get a good feel for the track. But it was kind of cool. He was in the top 10, and at some point he even made it to 4th, I believe. I don't know if he led. Did he lead any laps? I think he did. Yeah, he did. I don't know. I don't remember what stage but he was leading at some point because I remember telling my dad, "Hey, look who's leading." He was surprised like the rest of us, or at least like me. And I was so disappointed when well, first of all, I was surprised. Like, what the heck was up with the lightning? Like, I've since they started the rule with the lightning hold, I've never seen them lift it before the half hour. Like, and I'm glad I wasn't the only one surprised because the guys in the TV booth were surprised, the guys on PRN were surprised, and even the drivers were surprised. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I was so confused. I was like, what are we doing? Like, they've never done this before. They've never lifted it. Not that it did them any good. I think they were hoping to get a few more laps of racing in before the rain came. And I guess they did, but not entirely. And I saw a comment online that said Junior wanted to go home because he was talking about how when the rain came, he didn't think they were going to finish the race. And I was with him, like, what they say, 27 laps to go? I didn't figure they would finish it either. Not that late at night. And we were both right. They didn't. But I think it's kind of cool in a way. Like, I'm not a fan of his either, but it's kind of cool in a way that Daniel Suarez was able to win the race and do his own personal tribute to Kyle Busch. I didn't realize he raced for Kyle Busch. I keep learning more and more drivers either raced full time or filled in for him that I didn't know about. It's kind of crazy. I feel like it's quite possibly 1/3 of the Cup Series current Cup Series field, and that doesn't count the O'Reilly series. And drivers that are no longer in the sport. It's kind of crazy to think that he influenced that many people. It's pretty cool, actually. Imagine how many more he could have influenced. One, if he hadn't had to close down his truck team, and two, if he had lived. Like, seriously. That's just cool. Um, what else? What else can I say? I don't know what else I got to say. Oh, Ryan Blaney. As per usual, his pit crew. I seriously was like, I'm not a Ryan Blaney fan, but at some point I was like, dude, you just need to fire your entire pit crew and start over because apparently they suck. Like, I don't know what is up with them, but they cannot put together a full race of good stops. It's just crazy. Also, on another topic, I did not know that they were planning the drone show. I don't know if they always do that. I thought that was kind of cool. At the stage 2, I'm gonna call it a stage 2 break where they do the moment of silence, which I knew about, and then they did the drone show, which I did not know about. That was pretty cool. They were shooting fireworks off in my neighborhood at that time. No, actually, maybe that was closer to the end of stage 3. I think, yeah, because I don't think it was quite dark yet at the end of stage 2. Um, the Coke 600, y'all, for me, it's usually really, I find it to be very boring. But yesterday's, besides the somber feel of it, yesterday's was actually quite good. Like, I enjoyed it. There was always something to surprise me, and I thought the strategies were pretty good, and the battles for the lead were pretty good too, I thought. So, uh, I enjoyed it despite the sad feel of it. Like, it just seemed strange to think that Kyle Busch was not racing in it and won't be racing ever again. It's just sad. Very, very sad. But anyway. Alexa, what time is it? What did I do with the... Ah, aha! By the Legos. I came prepared today, y'all. I know, it's weird. I never come prepared, right? I know. Anyway. Oh, an observation I didn't make earlier when I was talking about IndyCar and the Indy 500 yesterday. It was kind of funny that if you were leading on a restart, you are not keeping the lead. I don't know if that's typical for Indy, but it was definitely true for yesterday's race. Sometimes, as often as the lead changed, I felt like we were watching a Daytona 500 race. I felt like they couldn't keep up with the lead changes, which was fun. Um, Today apparently is not a good live day. Last week there was a whole bunch of you on here, but maybe because it was raining. I can't believe that was just last week. Wow. So much happened in a week. I guess not that much, but it seems like a lot with Kyle Busch. Um, um, I don't know what else to say. I guess I should have taken notes, but you guys know I don't take notes when I do a live. And I feel like some people say they should have just canceled the Coke 600 yesterday. I kind of agree with the people who argue by saying Kyle Busch would not have wanted that. I think they're probably right. He would have wanted them to go on and do it. But also, like, everybody needed the race as a distraction from the emotional toll of the week. So I think that it was good. I guess they've always done this, but I don't remember it. The reason I'm guessing they've always done it is because of how well it was done. And that I know that the names are written on the cars, but or on the windshields, but wherever they put them. But the little segments where they would pause, they weren't stopping racing, but they would pause talking, and they would show, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 drivers or however many it was that were reading the names that were on their car with little commentary on how that they would never forget, or they speak their name aloud so that they don't forget, or whatever it was that they said. I liked those little segments, and like I said, I guess they always do them, but I don't remember them. I also like I was wondering how they were going to do it. So like when they at Daytona when they do the 3 for Dale. I was wondering how they were gonna do it for Kyle because his last number was 8, and I was like, you can't do 18 fingers, so I figured they would go with 8. But I didn't know how they would do it, and my dad finally figured it out. He's like, "What are they doing with their hands?" And then he figured it out, the 4 fingers of each hand. So I thought that was kind of cool. Um, but yeah, I know I kind of jumped all over the place, but this is how I roll. If you've ever watched my live before, you know this is how I roll. Um, I didn't do this last night because it was just too late. Like, it was hard for me to stay awake for the last like few restarts. Like after they did the lightning, even before that, I was having trouble staying awake, and all of that drama with the lightning and the rain that didn't help. And then my dad left and turned the lights out on me, and I was like, "Dude, if you do that, I'm really gonna fall asleep and I won't know who won." So he came back and turned it on back on, but yeah, I was too tired. And plus, like, I don't know how the crowd is late at night. Like, I know Friday I went until midnight, but I had some friends on here that I was talking to. So I don't know how it would be, like, just to randomly go live at it was almost 11 o'clock my time. So I don't know how that would be. So I didn't, cause I was just tired. Like you guys know how I usually am. I'm like yawning all over the place. That's how I would have been if I would have tried to go live. Plus, I would have like it wouldn't have been pretty. I don't know. Um, this is what I just did, y'all. I just pulled the label off my water bottle. It reminds me of those country songs where they talk about the long neck bottles of beer and the girl is like peeling the label off of it or whatever. I'm not always sure, like, why that is mentioned, like, is there a point to that? Like, is that a signal for something? I don't know, but if it is, I do it all the time with my bottle. Of course, my bottle isn't beer, but anyway, that's random, I know, but I don't know, it just made me think of that. Now I could be drinking anything because there's no label anymore, you wouldn't know. Well, the blue tint to the bottle and the green cap might give it away if you're familiar with the Sony, but otherwise you wouldn't know what this is because there's no label anymore. I don't know if there's a clear alcohol, but it could be alcohol. I don't know enough about alcohol to know if there's one that is clear, but I'm drinking a clear substance in a bottle that has no label. I know I'm crazy. But I have finished my talk on racing, and y'all's job now is to give me something else to talk about. There's only one person here. And I don't know if you've been here the whole time or if you're somebody new, so. But I have gone a lot longer than I thought I would when I first started doing this. So, there you go. How can what else can I say? Oh, it appears that despite their finishes, well, I don't actually know where Tyler Reddick finished. I just know they said he led the most laps, which I don't know if I believe that either, but maybe it's true. But that's what I read was that he led the most laps yesterday. And he's still the points leader. I don't know how many stage points he got, but I don't think he won any of them. I think it went to Larson, Hamlin, Bell, and then obviously Suarez because Suarez was the winner. Um, I don't know where Reddick finished in all of those stages. But apparently he's still the points leader by like 100 and something points, maybe more. And even though Allgaier finished 28th or ninth, I don't know which one. Some people say 28. When I looked at the NASCAR app, it showed him in 29th, but that's not always accurate at the end of a race. But either way, he still has a points lead by 100 and something points. So apparently, whatever happened to them didn't matter. They're still dominating in their series, which I enjoy. I don't even know who the point leader is in the truck series. And I wish that I could have watched it because, like I said, from what I read on social media, it sounded like a good race, but I wasn't skipping church for a race. Unless I'm at the race in person, I ain't skipping church for a race. I mean, sometimes I'm tempted. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway. Alexa, what time is it? Oh, okay, cool. Um, I think I'm about done, unless you want to add some comments. My lurker friend, whoever you are. Um, for anybody who just found me on the replay, or if you just joined live, because it's been a while since I looked at the number, but I am Amy, or Blind NASCAR fan, and I would love it if you would like this video and subscribe to my channel. Like I said Friday, subscriptions are free and they help me grow, so I would appreciate them. Hello, Joe. As far as NASCAR drivers go, you mean? I pick them based on personality and how fan friendly they are, basically. Hence, Allgaier and Chastain being my favorites. Um, why does my room smell like food? I'm the only one home at this current moment in time. But my room smells like food and it's making me hungry. I'm not happy. Actually, I don't care, but it is making me hungry. Yeah. Personality is why, like, drivers' personalities is why I picked Trevor Bayne as my first official driver, because he was a strong Christian and wasn't afraid to say so. And then I just picked the nice people, like the ones that are super nice to their fans, or maybe they're not even nice to all their fans, but they're nice to me. Because for a long time, I supported Bubba Wallace for many years when a lot of people that I knew didn't like him. Because when I met him, he was super friendly, super outgoing, very nice, very welcoming. Didn't mind telling me his name, unlike others I have named on my channel before. And so I was a fan of his. I only stopped being a fan of his when he started getting all political on me. Because I don't like. I feel like music and sports is not a place where you should bring politics. Like, we're not watching you play sports, watching you drive a car, listening to you sing songs. We're not doing that for your political opinions. And I don't mind you having them. I don't even mind knowing about them. I just don't think that you should, like, push them on the rest of us. And so many music groups and a few NASCAR drivers have gone to the dark side of my my fandom because they bring politics into their career, and I don't like it. So, yep, that's what happens to me. Um, this bottle that I peeled the label off of a little bit ago, now it's all sticky, and I have the urge to, like, stick stuff to it and see if it will hold it. Which is really weird, I realize, but these are the kind of things that go through my brain. Like, would this Lego wall stick to it? Now I'm gonna find out. No, it does not. However, it does stick to my shirt. See, I am the strangest person in the world, I know. That's not really true, but I am weird. I look cute. Well, thank you, I guess. It's a much different weather day. So the way where I am sitting, like almost in front of me is a window. It's maybe if I went over here like this, it would be directly in front of me. Now it's in front of me, but some of it is off to the side. But the last time I did a live, it was raining, and it was you would have thought there was a hurricane in my town because of how much rain came down that day. And it just kept getting darker and darker and darker. And I was like, even me being blind, even I could tell how dark it was getting because the light above my head was like actually making a difference in the gloom of the room. It was getting so dark. Today it's bright and sunny and it's a little bit cloudy, but the sun is at least shining and you can't see it through this window because it's off to the west of me, which is that way. Well, I'm live, so for you, I think I'm pointing the opposite way. But for me, it's this way. Um, I'm pretty sure that being that I'm live, I think it's reversed, but whatever. Um, but yeah, it's very much different weather. It's actually so nice outside right now that I could do this live outside, except that there's really not a good spot for my tripod outside. I would have to hold the phone in selfie mode, and that would get really old really fast. Oh, you mean with the sticky thing on the water bottle? Yes, it was very much an experiment. But it's just this weird, like, I do this with a lot of stuff. And, like, I'm the kid, like, my parents are probably glad that I couldn't see when I was a kid because I would probably be the one to color on the walls. I don't know. Even being blind, I may have colored on the walls. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to ask my dad. But yeah, like I think about stuff like that all the time. I think Joe is the only one watching. Nobody else cares about my NASCAR opinions. Sometimes actually I really do think that nobody else cares about my opinions. And sometimes that bothers me and other times I don't even care. And then sometimes I get so many views on one random video that I'm just like, "Why? Why do you care about that?" It's really funny. My hair is like tickling me. I don't know what that's all about. I It's really interesting because in the winter, this tree that's outside my window, when it doesn't have any leaves, it's really bright in here. Like the light coming in and shining on me is like a lot brighter than it is now. But this tree like makes it's not even really close to the window. It's a good like 15 feet away, but the shadow of it is not even the shadow. It is a shadow, but I don't know how to explain it. Like it's blocking the light from the sky, but it's not. I wouldn't consider it a shadow, but I guess it is. I don't know. Anyway, it is 4 something in the afternoon for me. And I guess everybody out there is on their way home from work or maybe school. Maybe you're on your way to work. If you're like my mom, you're almost on your way to work. She used to leave at 5 every day. Which was kind of weird because she didn't have to be at work until 7 and she would get there stupidly early. I guess I'm a bad employee because I wouldn't do that. Like, her job was 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and she would get there between 6 and 6:30 and she would clock in and start doing stuff. And I'm like, they're not paying you for that extra hour, 30 minutes, whatever it is that you're there. Like, why? But she was always like that. So I guess she's a better worker than I am, because I would not do that. Although, honestly, I don't think that I could do the job that she did. Even if I wasn't blind, I don't think that I would or could do the job that she did. I don't have the patience. I don't have, like, I'm not that nice. Like, putting up with, she was a nurse, and putting up with the patients and their ridiculousness was bad enough, but then to put up with her bosses and their stupidity. Like all the dumb rules that they made that she had to adhere to. I don't know if that's the right word, but just I couldn't do it. It's funny that you're now saying hi after your other two comments. I'm not sure why that's funny, but it struck me as funny. But hello. You have blind in your name. Are you actually blind also? I actually get more than I thought. A larger number of blind viewers than I thought, which is not a bad thing. It's pretty cool, but I didn't figure there were that many blind people that would care about motorsports or even like I don't know. I'm not like Blindy Girl or Molly Burke. Like I'm not giving sometimes I do, but I'm not my whole channel isn't about blindness and how to interact with blind people and you know what I mean? So I always get surprised. I wish they would bring back the fun questions. I always enjoyed those. I think if I, like, actually double tapped on it, it would put the question in the comments, and you guys could actually answer it directly, but I don't know that for sure. Somebody also said you can write your own comments, which I think you have to either have a computer or another device, because there's no way to type anything in that I can see in the chat on my side. I have never tried the chat options, but sometimes I'm afraid to click on things because I click on things and I screw stuff up. So sometimes I just don't. But um all my motorsports chats are done, so we can talk about whatever y'all want to. I see there's at least 2 of you watching. So if you want to talk about whatever, you can talk about my souvenirs behind me on the wall. We can talk about the Lego pile over here. I got 2 random bricks. No. This is what I used to do when I was a kid. I should put it more in the center. This is a sign. Like a billboard type sign. Clearly it isn't, but in my head, that's what it became. Well, we can talk about recipes. Oh, I get it. Our phones do weird things, so no worries. You know what's funny? You say you have a hard time rooting for Toyota. Well, I can get that because it's not American. My favorite drivers both drive Chevys. Ross and Justin. They both drive Chevys, but my favorite car manufacturer is Ford. It's it's kind of funny. I don't know. Um I don't know what time Majeski drives, to be honest. I should, but I don't. I know he was in a Toyota. I don't know if they are still doing Toyota. He was Toyota when I first met him. And I only know this because he was at the Toyota tent at the racetrack. Otherwise, I still probably wouldn't even know. I don't know if they still race Toyotas, but whatever they race. He switched to Menards, and I think Menards is, like, not good for your career. Like, Matt Crafton is now retired, but the last 2 or 3 years he sucked. And now Majeski is driving Menards, and he sucks. And it's kind of sad because I like him and I want him to do well. But, yep. Um, I like Ford because my dad used to drive a Ford when I was a kid. So all my, like, childhood memories were in a Ford. Otherwise, I don't care. Like, when it comes to, like, race car manufacturers, I honestly don't care. Just that my 2 top favorites just happen to drive Chevys, but in the NASCAR app, when it asks your favorite manufacturer, I still put Ford because I just remember my dad, like, when we were kids, even though he knew I'd never drive a car, he'd still put me on his lap and we would drive down the road, like. Or you can't do this anymore, but we used to pile in the bed of the truck. And he would go, this is dangerous, but we would do it. Like, we'd pile in the bed of the truck, and he would go, like, swerving like this down the road to our house. And it was fun. You can't do that now. You would get arrested, and your children would probably get taken away. But back then, he didn't do it on main streets, though. So, like, nobody could actually see him doing it. We lived in there's a bunch of farms everywhere. I don't know why they randomly built a row of houses. Like, our street, there was, I don't know how many houses, but our side of the street had houses all the way down. The other side had houses down the second half of the road, but our street dead ended. The first part of our street was the side of a farm with horses. The second half of that street had, I think, three houses, maybe only two houses, and then our side of the street had at least four, maybe five. Well, our two, three, probably more like six. I don't know for sure, but it was a dead end road, and behind us was a farm. Beside us, there was a house on either side of us, but the street that was next to the house next to us, on the other side of that street was a farm. In front of us was a farm. Like, we were literally surrounded by farmland. I don't know why they just decided to build these random houses in the middle of the farms. It was really weird. I don't know. Maybe one of the farmers sold some land or something. I don't know. It was weird. I also don't know why we bought a piece of land on this random street. And looking back, I'm sure my parents don't know why we did it either, because there was a street behind our house that curved behind our house and the neighbor's house that went around. And if drivers weren't paying attention at nighttime, they would come straight down that road and they could potentially run right into our house, because if they were going fast enough, they'd miss the curve hill with trees and bushes on it. My dad built it up to look pretty, but really its purpose was to stop the speeding cars from crashing our house, because he was afraid that eventually they would. Never happened, but he was afraid that they would, so he built up this hill. Somebody got smart. Whoever bought the house after us got smart and put up a fence with reflectors on it. So we never did that, but anyway. Hey, it's been almost an hour. Look at that. All my random stories about Ford in my childhood home. Oh, the other thing that we did when we were kids, you couldn't do this either because you would get arrested also, and your kids would get taken away. There's also a lot more traffic on the road, so it would be even less safe now than it was then. But we had an old, I think that it was I don't know, it was a Ford pickup, but I don't know what kind. We called it the old blue bomber because it was old. It was, I think, like 2 years younger than me. I think, well, two or three. I don't know. But it was from the 80s anyway. And back then it wasn't old when we were kids and we did this. But we had a camper that, like, the little shell that you put on top of the bed. And my dad took some duct tape, and the camper shell had a window, and of course the back of the truck. This was back when they had windows that opened, the slider windows that opened in the back of the truck. So he would open that and open the window in the camper and tape them. He put tape all the way around the opening so he could leave it open, and in the summer we'd get air conditioning through the window, and in the winter we'd get heat through the window. And my sister and I, he put this old remnant of carpet. I have no idea where this carpet came from, but he put this old remnant of carpet on the bed of the truck so it was a little bit softer than just the bed of the truck. And we had pillows and blankets and toys, and we would go on road trips, like from where we lived to my grandparents' house in the bed of the truck, like just riding back there. We'd go through drive and he'd pass food through the window and we would eat back there. We'd play with our toys, like we'd sleep back there. Never thought about wearing a seatbelt. It was a blast. And that wasn't a Ford. So now you know why I like Fords. You're actually lucky the people driving behind you didn't turn you in to the police, because nowadays I think people would. I'm surprised that they didn't. Yep, the things that we did when we were kids. You see those posts on Facebook about all the things you do when you're kids, drinking out of the water hose and all that. Yep, most of those things I did. I mean, not all, because those are written for people who are like in their 50s and 60s, but like most of them I did when I was a kid. And I was the kid that even though I was blind and couldn't see where I was going, I was the kid that rode a two-wheel bicycle, like a single person, not a tandem. It's a wonder, like, I didn't, like, hit any potholes and fly off head first off my bike or run into a moving car or something. Like, it's a wonder that never happened to me, because that's I would do that. What? Really? I thought it was illegal in every state. How is it not? What? Really? I'm now shocked. You've officially shocked me. I did not know this. Time to move to Kansas. I actually don't. I actually wouldn't mind Kansas. There's a good racetrack there. Um, interesting. I thought it was legal in every state. I wonder if that's true or if they just told you that so you would be comfortable doing it. Now I'm curious. Interesting. It's funny. Funny, funny, funny. Alexa, time. Ha ha ha. You guys are welcome. All your devices are going off. Hey, how come they don't go off? Like if you guys could verbally speak to me, you could set mine off. But the TV commercial doesn't. I was wondering that last night when because the race is on Amazon, so they were playing the Echo commercials. And I was wondering why every time a phone call and I was talking to someone, how does she distinguish? Like what the heck? I remember the early Siri commercials used to set her off. Your username is Lego underscore NASCAR. That's the coolest username ever. Like, I don't know who you are if you've ever watched, but that is literally the coolest name ever. My Spectrum internet is temporarily or is not connected to whatever it says. I pay $100 for this internet and half the time it's not connected. Oh, well, it was good talking to you. Thanks for watching. I know, right? Like, you felt like if you're like me, I wasn't there, but if you're like me, you feel like it was a dream. Like, you still, even 3 days later, you think you're gonna wake up and find out this was just a dream. And it's not. Like, I'm not a fan of his. I won't pretend that I was. Like, some people are talking about him like they loved him, like they were big fans of his, and I know for a fact they weren't. I'm not gonna pretend that I was, because I was not. I did not like him. But I would have not wished him dead. Like, ever. I just never thought this would be, like, what we were talking about in 26. And I didn't know until he died that he was younger than me. For some reason, I thought he was older than me, which added to my irritation. When he was younger, I'm like, "Dude, you're older than me, grow up." But, like, he did grow up eventually, which I think was a direct result of having children. But, like, it's weird. I can't believe this is the reality that we're living in. It's I don't understand it, but yeah, it's very sad. I don't know. I just never thought this would be our reality. And even if this was our reality, like the fact that I feel like it might be different. It'd be just as devastating to people. think that it might be different if it had been while he was racing, doing what he loved to do. But this was just like a senseless thing. Like, how do you die of pneumonia? And how do you, like, how does it get to where it is so bad that you die from it? Like, how does it not get detected before it gets to that point? I don't know. I still love your username if you're still watching. I don't know how long ago you left your comment. You may have left it and then left because I didn't respond. But best username ever. I totally could have done that username if I didn't want to put blind in mine. Because those are my two favorite things. Yeah, I agree with that. I mentioned that earlier in this video at the beginning, or well, I don't know if it was the beginning, but it was too late. People were not making fun of him, but they were teasing Junior and they were saying Junior wanted to go home and I'm like, if I was there, I'd want to go home too. Like it was what, 11:30 on Eastern time? If they'd have kept it for 27 laps, it wasn't worth it. Like I understand people who want race to finish under green. I do. I really do cuz I felt gypped with what they did with O'Reilly on Saturday. But like 27 laps to go, you wait 2 hours cuz they've done this before for less laps, but it was earlier in the day. Like there was 3 laps to go somewhere. Nashville maybe? I don't know. Somewhere they were at. There was 3 laps to go and they literally waited 2.5 hours, I think, to run 3 laps. And it's kind of like, just be done with it. Like, it doesn't. I get it, because I have felt gypped like that. Like I said, I felt that way on Saturday. But it was too late last night. If they'd have 2.5 hours would have put it at 2 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time. And that race would have ended after 3. Well, maybe not. I don't know how many laps, how many minutes it would take to run the last 27 laps, but it still would have been close to 3, and that's no, it was just too late. I think they did good. Like once it was raining so hard that they couldn't, that the track was lost, I think they did good. That is true. They have been having a spectacular year. I don't know if I don't know where either of them are in points. But for the team to have 2 wins, they're not really a top tier team necessarily. Like they wouldn't be on the same level with Penske, who really hasn't done terribly well this year, or Hendrick, who surprisingly hasn't done terribly well either. But then who can compete against the Toyotas? So there you go. But yeah, I'm not a Daniel Suarez fan. I don't really like him, but I don't I don't have a good reason for not liking him. I just don't. He's just not on my radar. I guess like I don't dislike him, but I don't like him either. I'm just neutral about him. But I'm glad for the team, like, as a whole, that they have 2 wins and a lot of, like, top 5s, top 10s, too, over the last year or so. So, I think Suarez and Hocevar, or at least I hope, they make good teammates. They seem like they do. So, really, I didn't know they were that high. That's cool. That's cool for them. I was wondering, I almost looked it up before I went live. Cuz I knew that he won, so I almost looked that up. That's cool. I did not know they were that high. That is pretty cool. I should probably about Suarez cuz I like Hulsvar, maybe they could be my new favorite team. I have a favorite team. I still say it's the Wood Brothers, but that's more for relational purposes than who their driver is. Like, I just like them as a family, but their their driver's not bad. Like, I don't. Barry is like Suarez, I guess. I don't dislike him, but I don't like him per se. If I had to put them in order of who I liked best, I would put Barry higher, but I don't know if that's because he races for the Wood Brothers or because I've met him. I don't know. like I honestly don't know. Like um but that is cool about how where they're at in points. I didn't know that. um ooh, you were there. You can tell me. Tell me about this drone show they supposedly had during the stage 2 break, I call it. Apparently, they had the moment of silence, but they also had a drone show, which I didn't know was happening. um, that is a good question. So I read it automatically. So if this was my screen, like I swipe it like this to read, or this way to go backwards. Somebody told me that if you put your finger on the comments, it will automatically read the next one, but mine doesn't. So if I leave the cursor on your last question, that's where it will stay forever until I swipe to the next question. I don't know why, but I want AI like what Ryan Hall has that reads comments. That's what I want my AI to do. If AI was trustworthy, I would want AI to give me a proper summary of every race so that I don't have to take notes because taking notes is boring and makes it feel too much like a job. I'm not doing YouTube for a job. I'm doing it because it's fun. And hopefully I can make money at it. But but I don't want to be taking notes while I'm watching a race. That's races are fun. I don't want to turn them into a job. Maybe I should want to turn it into a job, but I don't. So I need an AI that can give me an accurate summary. And then one that can read the comments. Maybe the same AI. I don't know. Eventually, this will probably be a thing that can happen, but right now, I don't trust AI to be completely accurate. I asked it for one for yesterday, and I kind of took it, but I don't know if it was entirely accurate. Some of it was, but not all. And I don't know. It's AI, and AI, it hallucinates too much, so I don't know if I trust it fully. But anyway. Y'all, I noticed I'm doing it again. I'm looking like this. And not like this. I do that a lot because I only have vision in my left eye, so to me, straight ahead is like this, except it's not. It's like this, but in my brain. It's a really bad habit I have and I can't help it. Um, I should go check my text messages and see if my dad is getting off early so I can make dinner, but I don't want to. This is more fun than making dinner. I didn't like making dinner. Because making dinner requires me to use the Be My Eyes app and call a volunteer to set the stove, and then I have to put the pizza in the oven. I know it. First world problems, right? Yep, I know. uh, things that I personally never thought I would say when I used to read social media. all the first world probs hashtags or hashtag posts. I remember when Twitter, I guess it was a teenager and young 20s thing, but I participated in it anyway sometimes. I remember when it was full of hashtags like people I want to meet, and you'd put like you'd tag celebrities, or like bucket list, and you would put like attend Charlotte Motor Speedway, whatever race, like Coke 600 or Roval or whatever. And then you tag the racetrack and then you use the hashtag bucket list. I remember those hashtag games, and some of them I would participate in, some of them I would not. But people don't do things like that on, I guess, maybe on some platforms, but I still only have Twitter/X, Facebook, and YouTube, so I have Instagram, but it's not terribly usable for blind people, so I don't get on it often. Ooh, that's cool. That's really awesome. On PRN, I think it was PRN, but maybe it was TV. I'm pretty sure it was PRN. They mentioned the Coca-Cola logo, but that was it. I was like, "Come on, like tell me the whole thing. Like I want to know everything." I don't know what they showed on TV, but they must not have showed much because it didn't catch my dad's eye. But then we watched a drone show on TV, and it was the same one that my sister and I went to in person, and apparently it's not nearly as awesome on TV as it is in person. I guess I don't know. Obviously, doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me because I can't really see anything but the lights. But my sister said it just wasn't quite the same. And maybe that's what happened last night because my dad, it didn't even catch his attention. Like he was looking at the TV and then he just went outside. So I was like, okay, well, maybe they didn't show anything or maybe it wasn't that great. I don't know, but it sounds cool. They have a they have this thing called Sky Wars in over in Missouri, and we usually go to that every year, and they have a drone show at the like in the middle of the show every year. Sky Wars is, if you don't know, it's a big huge fireworks show. Like there's 7 shows, I think. There's 3 pro amateur competition like competitors, and then they pick a winner, and then there's 3 pro competitors and then they pick a winner, and then there's the show that's like the unlimited. Sometimes it's one of the previous winners, but sometimes it's literally just to show off what fireworks you can buy, and it's really cool. Last year's show was just kind of meh, but usually it's really good. Even for this blind girl, I enjoy the firework shows. But they usually have a drone show. The last couple of years they've had the drone show. So, I don't know how many drones they have, but it's a lot. Like, there's so many. I don't know if it was like this at the Speedway. There's so many drones in this show that I went to that you can literally hear them. I mean, it's loud, like it's crazy. It sounds like a car motor, basically. That's the volume of it. There's so many. It makes me want to go finish my Lego project. Seriously. That's what all these Legos are for over here. I don't know if you were around for the test of sticking them to my sticky water bottle, because I'm weird like that. All the stickiness is kind of wearing off. But I peeled the label off and then I was sticking things to it to see if they would stick. Legos don't stick, but fabric does, apparently. Yep, I'm weird like that, I know. I am a crazy person. But our current Lego project is monochrome. So I'm working on a castle, but I don't have enough bricks. I have a lot of like flat pieces like this, but they're not working for building the walls of my castle. Yeah. And then, like, a lot of the Lego suggestions I see online, I can't figure out what they would look like 'cause I've never seen like, they're, like, visual, so you build it to visually resemble something, but if you touch it, it's not necessarily gonna resemble that thing. So I can't like, I have no concept of what that's going to look like when it's done. And to me, like, it doesn't make sense. I'm just like, "What?" I always get to the end and I'm like, "How does this look like that?" And apparently it does, but I can't figure it out. Alexa, time. Oh, I forgot there's no internet. What the? How did two of them answer and the other one in the other room answers in a voice I'm not using? What the heck? Creepy. That's so creepy. What in the world is going on? It's so creepy. Um, well, I think, I think I'm about done. But if you want to see like all of my NASCAR thoughts and some IndyCar thoughts, they are at the beginning of this video. I didn't have any viewers yet, so I just kind of did my normal spiel that I would do if I was talking to myself and not recording a live. So they're all up there before we get into the fun stuff. But like I said, we can talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. It doesn't have to be about the race yesterday or anything else. Um, I am running out of stuff to say, so if y'all don't have any comments or questions, I'm probably gonna get off and see what I can do around the house to get ready for dinner. But I went longer than I thought. When I first got on and there was nobody watching and I just gave my race spiel, I thought, oh, I'm only gonna be on for 20 minutes. Now, an hour and 20 minutes later, I'm still here. So, if you want to share me with your friends, maybe get some more peeps up in here, maybe we can keep going. I'm not opposed. I just don't know what else to talk about. I wish I could like comments while I'm live, but I don't know how. Nope, don't know how. Okay, well, everybody left me, so I'ma leave you too.